Good morning, traders. Good morning, everyone. Welcome from my trading office. Yesterday, we recorded some 18-20 minute video for our clients. We covered a lot of stock indexes and yen crosses, but because of the very interesting developments, especially on the US stock market since yesterday, I decided to look at these assets and just give you some coverage here. So actually, the S&P 500. As you know, on a longer term scale, I'm looking for a deeper pullback here in a wave 4. But since market moved or turned to the upside at the end of March, this whole price action is moving more sideways rather than to the downside. Okay, so the idea is that maybe we are not here making a deep ABC pullback, but it can be just a triangle. Okay, so I have two wave counts on our other screen, but what is interesting that for the short term, both wave counts suggest the same. Okay, so primary idea is still that this was wave 1, wave 2, and we are going to see another wave 3, 4, and wave 5 down for wave C. Okay, to retrace maybe 50% compared to previous wave 3. So actually, this is primary count, it's still valid, but actually decline, if this was wave 1 and wave 2, as you know, decline can be more brutal in such case. But there is a chance, if we go to this 4-hour chart, there is a chance that this was actually a triangle. Okay, so this can be wave A, B, C, D, and now we are stepping into wave E. So what is interesting that both wave counts, okay, even for a wave 3 decline within wave C, will take us lower, and even wave E, even if this is just an ABC decline, still has room to make more weakness. But what is probably the most important is that we have some very interesting price action since yesterday. It's acting somehow impulsively on the short-term charts. Also, what is very important is that we turned down from this 61.8% of wave B. Okay, and that's normally very important area where subways will complete its cycle within a triangle. Okay, so actually this is very interesting reversal at this stage, and as I said, we could see a pullback down into wave E or maybe into a sharp wave 3 of C. Okay, but in both cases we are turning down from these very important FIP levels. Okay, so in either case, I think there is room for more weakness and maybe even for some speculators to look on the short side. Okay, so watch out for more weakness. Now, based on minimum expectations, based on both wave counts, suggest that we could see maybe a drop down towards 2600 level, maybe even lower, to test this triangle line. So there is room for what? Maybe even 80 to 100 point drop. Okay, so now the question is how FX market will move based on this potential risk off mode. Well, I have here this overlay chart is actually the S&P 500 futures are at the bottom. Okay, and here at the top I have plenty of FX crosses. So actually what I will do now is I want to know how yen crosses moved when stocks fell, firstly since February highs or January highs. And what I see here, that here in blue line, this was the weakest yen crosses, and this is actually ASEAN. Okay, so actually ASEAN was back then probably the best short in this risk when stock market moved to the downside in a risk off mode. So the next decline then, okay, occurred on stocks occurred here from mid-March. Okay, so I want also to see which was the weakest cross back then in March, and here was the high of the S&P in March, on March 12th, and as you can see here, the lowest price reading was again in blue line, which again is ASEAN. So each time when stock market fell or when the S&P fell, we have seen ASEAN acting very, very weak. So I would not be surprised to see again maybe ASEAN if we are going to see another leg to the downside into wave E on S&P, or maybe even extended wave C to the downside. I would not be surprised if ASEAN will be again acting very weak. So based on this, I want to look what ASEAN is doing. Okay, so I will take a look at this wave count, and actually this is pretty clear wave count. We have 5 waves of decline. Okay, and we know after 5 waves, market will make a pullback, and this pullback will ideally take us back to the area of a former wave 4, sometimes even to do back to termination point of a former wave 4, which was here at 84.50. So actually we have been trading pretty close to that level, and what I see is now very interesting reversal to the downside. Okay, and more importantly, the previous rise, as you can see, was deep in price but still overlapping. Okay, so it was not a sideways move, but rather deep in price. It was bigger pullback, but more importantly, it was made by 7 swings here, as I can see. So WXY, it's one possible interpretation here. It's a complex correction. That's why we went more deeper here to the upside. But the idea is that market could again come to the downside right now. Also, here is this 1 hour chart. You can clearly see that we have plenty of overlapping price action here. So I would not be surprised to see lower prices, and this goes perfectly with the potential sell-off on the stock market. Okay. Also, what I forgot to mention, that I really like candlestick formations. So today it's Friday, okay, and yesterday was very bad day for stocks. So what I noticed on the S&P 500 here, that we formed a potential evening star formation. Okay, here was an upper body, very strong body actually. Then you have a doji, and then you have a very strong decline yesterday. So now if we take this low out from yesterday, okay, and to even close below that level, then this would also form not only a completed evening star formation, but also it would make probably very bearish candlestick formation on a weekly basis. Okay, so in such case, I would be probably even more confident that we are going to see at least 3 waves of decline back to this level, okay, which is around 2600, as I said already earlier. So watch out for these developments, because if that's going to be the case, then, as I said, Japanese yen could gain a lot, especially against the Aussie. Okay, and against pound as well, because pound dollar came very sharply from the highs this week. Okay, tourists, thank you very much for your attention. If you're interested in more video analysis, in more charts every day, check our trial offer for 14 days. Okay, so visit our website. Thank you very much. Bye.